This week we have another Journey into Nick's Crack-A-Pack. So let's get crack-a-lackin'. Alright, for our first card we have Returned Reveler. For 2 mana, a zombie satyr creature. And when it dies, you get to put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. So if you've got a mill deck, or a graveyard deck, excuse me, this is going to be real good, especially with that 1/3 body. Alright, Counter Remand. It's 4 mana. You get to counter the target spell, and you get to put their opponent's 4 cards into their library to their graveyard. And this can be good or bad, depending on what your opponent's playing. They might actually like having their 4 cards into their library, especially, or into the graveyard, especially if it's all land, which would suck. Alright, next we have a Pensive Minotaur for 3 mana. Just a regular Minotaur, 2/3, not bad. We have Armor of Nyx for 3 mana, enchanted creature. It has double strike as long as it's enchantment. Otherwise, you prevent all damage that would be dealt. Good for either putting on your creatures or your opponent's creatures. Alright, Font of Fertility. It's 1 mana, and then you have to pay 2 mana to sacrifice it, get a basic land card, and put it into play tapped. Not the most efficient or fastest way to get land. But if you need to take it, you take it. Rotted Hulk for 4 mana, and it's 2/5. The only thing I like about this card is that it has Hulk in it, and I'm going to modify one of these so that there's a picture of a rotting zombie Hulk on it. And that is the only thing I like about this card. Alright, 5 mana for Deadbringer Lampheads. It's a 4/2 creature, and whenever it or another enchantment goes onto the field, you gain Intimidate. Which is awesome, because that means you could be hitting for 4/2. Depending on how many enchantments you have to trigger, it could be good. Supply Line Cranes. 5 mana for 2/4 flying. And when it comes into the battlefield, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on it. So that's a 3/5 creature. I like this card. It works. Thassa's Devourer. 5 mana for a 2/6, a constellation that your opponent has to put the top 2 cards into his graveyard. This can work well, or it can be pretty good, but you gotta have a lot of enchantments to trigger it. Desecration Plague. 4 mana for destroy target enchantment or land. If you hating on land, this is a good card to get. I don't know if I'd first pick it, but it's alright. Phalanx Formation. 3 mana for a Strive of 2 mana, and any number of target creatures each gain double strike until end of turn. I like being able to trigger heroic cards, if you haven't guessed, and so I kind of like this card, and double strike can work really, really well. Alright, Nightmarish End. This card is pretty cool looking. For 3 mana, you get -X until end of turn, where X is the number of hands in your cards. When you are calculating this, though, don't forget to subtract Nightmarish End, because it won't be in your hand once it gets played. Alright, Nyx Weaver. For 3 mana, you get a 2/3 spider with reach that at your upkeep you have to put top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard, and then you get to return a card from your library to the graveyard when you exile this card. This can be really good if you're doing a graveyard-based deck. And our rare for the set is Polymorphous Rush for 3 mana, and the Strive is 2. You get to choose a target creature you control. Each becomes a copy of that creature until the end of turn. This can be so much fun to play with. And to play some of that. Alright. Honestly, I think I would pick this just because it looks really fun to play with. You've got, it's basically a way to end the game, which is great. And you can target one, or you can target more. It's a very good card that way. So, comment below which card you would choose, like this video, and subscribe for more.